Hello everybody, welcome to the United Stand. I'm Mark Goldbridge and this is your latest Manchester United transfer news and everything else, because we're going to say it how it is. That's what we do on the United Stand. You can say it, I can say it, we'll say it. What a bunch of greedy, I've lost the plot, I don't understand why I love football people we've got at our football club. Just get out and go away, you greedy cretins. You know, that's what we're getting tonight, isn't it? People that won't leave Man United because I want a few 10 grand more a week. Bloody hell. You know, listen to this. Juventus and Napoli cannot reach an agreement on Sancho's wages from Fabrizio Romano. The deal with Man United's fine, but they can't reach an agreement on wages. This is a player that's career highlights are on Fabrizio Romano's Twitter timeline. Oh, here we go, Sancho to Dortmund. Oh, here we go, Sancho to Chelsea. His whole career isn't on the pitch, it's on a fucking Twitter timeline. When did you lose? Mate, you're living the dream. You might think people don't like you. It's not that they don't like you, it's that they don't understand you. Because every single one of us would give our left bollocks to be playing at a professional level like you. And we do it for 10 grand a week. Like, we would do it for free. Most of us wanted to be professional footballers. You're a professional footballer. And you're sat there going, I'm not going there because I want another 50 grand a week. This is, I mean, life's not fair. Life is not fair. But people like this prove that life's not fair. We would love to play for Napoli. We would love to play for Juventus. We would love to play for Fenerbahce. To play professional football was many of our dreams. This lot are professional footballers and they're there going, no, I want 250 grand a week to do it. Greedy prats. Absolutely. Anyway, we'll get into that. We're also going to talk about, I'll tell you what, this is really exciting. For a Thursday night, this is brilliant, right? Matt, the editor, said tonight the hotometer has not been updated in ages. And I said, update it then. So he has, but I haven't seen it. So the hotometer and the coldometer are back, but not from me. So Matt, the editor, has updated the hotometer and the coldometer. So I'm going to be reacting to it the same as you when it appears next to me in a moment or two. But we will get into the latest news first, and we'll obviously get your opinions in. But look, if the United... Look... I'm not stupid. I've played the game. The United Stand is a mammoth of the YouTube fan community. We broke the rules like we did. You know, you can be proud of that. You can be upset about that. But we broke the rules. How many gimmicks are there out there? How many people copy what we do? I'm not even taking a pop at them. Like, oh, we do an 8 o'clock show, so we'll do an 8 o'clock. Oh, we do a 10 o'clock. We'll do a 9 o'clock. We do a 2 o'clock. We'll do a 1 o'clock. We'll copy their thumbnails. We'll copy their titles. The United Stand's the original, and you built it. But I don't care about. Like, I would encourage. Loads of people have made a career out of copying the United Stand. Go and do it. Why should they get away with making a living out of it? I mean, they're shit. Most of them. They just copy what we do. You go and do it. With my blessing, you go and do it. Absolutely. I look around and I think that's just a shit United Stand. That's just a shit United Stand. That's all it is. So you go out there and do it. I respect you lot. Go out and do it. Get out there. And, you know, maybe one day we'll say, you're brilliant. Come and work for us. But my point is, the United Stand... It's always better when I've had a drink. The United Stand is about saying it how it is. We're not the Manchester Evening News, thank God. We're not Sky Sports, we're not TNT, you know, we're not The Athletic, we're the United Stand. And we're a bit like Oasis in the mid-90s, who stepped into the music industry and said, don't want your praise, not going to get in line, this is what we're going to do. Some people will like it, some people will hate it. And we're here to say it how it is. And, you know, to be fair, Laurie Whitwell, that prat in the Manchester Evening News, James Ducker, Simon Stone, all respectable journalists apart from the Manchester Evening News one, they're never going to go, Sancho's an absolutely greedy prat. But he is. He absolutely is. He's paid by my club that I love, and he's a greedy prat. I mean, what has Sancho done for Man United? Please tell me. What has he done since he missed the penalty in the Euros? Nothing. Very talented player who's pissed it up the wall, surrounding himself with people who wipe his arse, and he's done nothing on the football pitch. Oh, he scored a goal in the Europa Conference League final that deflected off the Betis player's arse. Oh, I bet Yamal's shitting himself. I bet Yamal's terrified. I bet Vinicius Jr.'s terrified as well. I bet Ronaldo's absolutely shitting himself. Oh, Sancho scored a goal off someone's arse in the Conference League final. Bloody hell! You know, I better get scared. You know, so I don't want to talk about this person. But the thing about me is, because I'm more educated than he is, like many of you in life, and I haven't lived in a fucking bubble with people wiping my arse, mate, you are in a privileged position. You have obviously worked very hard from a young age to a certain age before you became a greedy prat and forgot what being a footballer is all about. Go and play football. Go and play football. You've refused Chelsea. You've refused Napoli. You've refused Juventus because you think you're better than you are. You're shit, mate, actually. You know what? You're not a 250 grand a week player. You're not even a 150 grand a week player. You're a 100 grand a week player. That's who you are. I would look in the mirror and go, smile. I've been paid way more than I deserve. I'm not actually worth 300 grand a week, which is what United have paid you. You're not worth 200 grand a week, which is what you're looking for from Napoli and Juve. You're a professional footballer. Go back to your roots, go back to basics, and go and play the game that you're meant to love. Because ultimately, every professional footballer should be playing the game because they fucking love it. Not because their agent's telling them to get a brand deal or because you could get a better wage. You mercenary shits. Get out there and do the thing that millions of us love watching. I'm not going to sit here and lie that Jadon Sancho is in a position I would love to be in. He's a professional footballer. I respect that. But I don't respect the greed. I don't respect the fact that some footballers have become fucking greedy prats. I don't respect that. Mate, you've earned millions out of Man United and you don't fucking deserve it. You know, I think about people like Duncan Edwards. I think about people like Dennis Law. I think about people like George Best. I think about people like Brian Robson. I think about people like David Beckham. I think of icons and legends of this football club, and you've earned more than any of them did. Just because you live in a time where footballers get paid fucking ridiculous money. But you're not fit to lace their boots, mate. Just fuck off and go and play football. And try and redeem yourself, because when you're 45, no one's going to look at you and go, you were a good footballer. But people will never forget the names of George Best, Dennis Law, David Beckham and Duncan Edwards. So, you know, money's a very, 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 very shallow mistress or mister. Like, it means fuck all. Money doesn't buy you happiness. Go and play the game that you're talented enough to play. Stop listening to these twats around you that are just there to, you know, leech off you and tell you you're brilliant. You're not. You've wasted your talent. You're in your mid-20s. You've got an opportunity to grow the fuck up and go and play football. And all this, I'm not playing for Napoli, I'm not playing for Juventus, I'm not playing for Chelsea because they're not paying me. Mate, you're not worth 100 grand a week. Man United fucked up big time. We gave you the stupidest wage package in the world. And everybody around you is telling you're worth it. You're not. You couldn't even start for Chelsea most weeks. You need to get back to basics. You need to start understanding that football's there to be loved, and you need to understand that your legacy ain't a great legacy. When we signed you from Dortmund, I thought you were a fantastic player. Where did that go? Go and fall back in love with football and stop being greedy. You know, it's sad. It's really sad. Because I think you're a talented player, but you've got bad people around you and so many players. Look at Garnacho this week. We've said it about Rashford. What is it about these players that don't understand? You're living the fucking dream. You're living the dream. And look, I'm not doing this because I want £20 million for your Man United. I'm doing it because I think you need to look at yourself. You need to look at yourself. So look, this is coming in from Fabrizio Romano. Juventus and Napoli cannot reach an agreement on Sancho's wages. Both clubs have got no problem paying what Man United want, but wages are the problem. United are looking for a full sale, obviously, but interested clubs want a loan, so part of his salary is covered. So they can't afford to do this deal because he wants stupid wages. It's madness, really. Sancho acts as if he's broke. Also, he has no trust in his footballing ability. He's taking all he can because he knows he's a flop, says Enjoy Life. He should be. You know what? If I was Jadon Sancho, I'd be absolutely ecstatic that teams of the quality of Juventus, Napoli, and Fenerbahce actually want me. I mean, at some point that tap runs dry. We've said it about Rashford, and I need to say something about Rashford. I'll do it in a minute. But Amorim should be very clear at Sancho that you are not getting a single game here. You better find a club for yourself. I tell you what, the interesting thing about Sancho is Amorim's never going to let Rashford and Garnacho back. But if you let Sancho back, it's worse. I wanted to say this. Obviously, he's seen Rashford. He doesn't want him. He's seen Garnacho. He doesn't want him. He's not seen Sancho. Sancho was gone before he got here. But I'll tell you this crystal clear. I'd take Rashford and Garnacho back every day of the week over Sancho. I think he's just an absolute shit show when it comes to Manchester United and the way he's behaved. I don't want him anywhere near the club. You know, you listen to so many people, Matic, everybody else. I don't want him anywhere near Man United. Just go. Just go and build your career elsewhere. And I do wish you all the best. I know the youth of today struggle with that because they live in extremes. But I genuinely do wish him all the best. But just leave us alone. That's it. Hi, Mark. I think United should sign João Pedro, says Jar. Oh, just on that. It's got nothing to do with João Pedro. Did you see this story that came out? I mean, Thursday night, it's going to be a bit different. I don't normally do the Thursday shows. Terry did the 2 o'clock show. Beth wasn't in today, so I'm doing the 8 o'clock show, and I'm very glad to be doing it with you because it'll be a very funny show, a very different show. But I saw this story today, and look, somebody will know where it came from. I think it was the Telegraph or the Times, Guardian, something like that. Basically, the story was that Manchester United have ruined the transfer market by paying inflated fees for Cunha and Mbeumo. This is a genuine story here in the UK. So because Man United have paid 60 million for Cunha and Mbeumo, we've ruined the market. And I think it's coming from more Newcastle side because obviously the Elanga deal got turned down. Look, I'd love the market to be cheaper. I'd love it if we were getting Mbeumo and Cunha for £40 million. But Man United getting the blame for the market being inflated is a little bit thick considering the release clause for Cunha was £60 million. We can't pay any less for a player that's got a release clause at £60 million. And we can't pay any less for Mbeumo when they look at Cunha and go, he's got a release clause for £60 million. So it's not Manchester United that have ruined the market. It's Wolves. They set the bloody release clause for Cunha, not us. It's like going up to a bloody porn star with a big cock and saying, you're ruining it for everybody else. Everyone wants to get on you. We're not as big. It's not our bloody fault. It's not my fault. It's genetics. I can't help it. You know, it is what it is. It's not my fault. It's not Man United's fault that we're paying the price that's there. You know, it is what it is. It's ridiculous. I read that today and I just thought, I'll bring that into the show. It's an absolute laugh. Unfortunately, United set the agenda of high wages to Slow Sports News. Mate, I would give my left bollocks to play for Man United. I'd play for Man United for free. I love football, Swammy. I'm like you. I love football. I mean, I'm not going to disclose what I earn, but to play for Manchester United, I'd do it for 30 grand a year. Oh, I'd love it. I'd love it. I don't care about the money. 10 years playing for Manchester United, it wouldn't be about the money. To be honest with you, I'd probably play for Villa for 30 grand a year as well. I love football. I love football my whole life. When the funny thing is, a lot of you are younger than me. Some of you might be older. But when I was growing up in the late 80s, so I was born in 1979. So when I was 10, 1989, Premier League didn't exist. I don't know what footballers earned. I didn't know. It wasn't part of the vocabulary. I didn't know who played for Bayern Munich. We lived in a very simple world. Some would say a better world. No, not massive technology. Everybody was down the park at this time of night playing jumpers for goalposts. There was no YouTube. And I think that's a bad thing, but there was a lot of things that were very innocent. We were down the park playing football. We weren't playing cricket. We weren't playing any other sport. If somebody had said to me, your job will be playing as a footballer, I would have done it because it was electrician, miner. I would have done it for free. well, no, I wouldn't do it for free because you've got to earn a living. But I'd have loved to have played football. And you know what? The sad thing is, and I will defend Sancho here, because I see it every week. Like Seb plays football, under sevens. God, I feel sorry for some of the kids. And this is a true story. And I don't know whether many of you have experienced it yet. I go and watch Seb play football, and I want him to play football. I don't think he'll play for Man United. I don't think he'll play for England, you know. And if he does, I'll be so, you know, it'd be amazing. All I want Seb to do is to be able to play football at a decent level, because I think it's a great social thing. I think it's a great thing with your mates when you're talking about football, that you actually can play, whether you're playing five-a-side, this, that, and the other. You know what? I watch so many games, and parents are making kids cry from the sidelines. Like, horrible stuff. And I look at it and I go, I don't understand why that is. I don't understand why they're shouting and abusing their kids, making them cry because they're not having a good game. But then I do, because there's so much money in football now that these parents see their kids as a project. They actually see them as a cash cow. It's sad. And I don't know how I ended up on that, but it is also true. It's so true. I see it week in, week out. Especially in boys football, it's worse. They see them as a meal ticket. And I look at the kids and they're not enjoying it. And I reckon they're probably in the garden like a fucking dog, being told, you get out there for 2 hours and do that. And it's like, I was down the park playing football because I wanted to be like Gary Lineker or whoever it was at those times. You know, I'm thinking late 80s. It probably was Gary Lineker, Chris Waddle, people like that, because we didn't get to watch a lot of football. Careful with calling them greedy, Mark. You know Rashford's camp is a sensitive bunch to the United stand. They might get you cancelled. I couldn't give a shit about Rashford's camp, and I haven't actually mentioned Rashford, so they can jog on. Vlahovic for Sancho, if no Gyökeres, says Jake. Hi, Mark. Have you considered doing top 3 players of the month in the new season using the... No, I haven't considered it, Ben. I'm just going to say I haven't considered it, and then I'm being polite. AMG is drunk in Cyprus. Do we get out tonight or save it for tomorrow? Boat party at 2. Go out tonight. Go out tonight. I did it on my Instagram. Shall I have another pint? I want them gone. Do not put in the youth. They will corrupt. Let them all sit at home and fine them for not being professional. Right, should we do... I'm going to do this because I'm just going to be selfish here. I'm going to do a Sancho. I've not seen this hotometer. Nobody's seen it for 3 weeks. This is the United Stand hotometer. It's about to hit your screen. I can't see it because it's small on my screen, but it's going to go big. The hotometer is ranking the top 7 United signings we think are most likely to sign for United. Let's go. What the fuck has Matt done here? Mbumo, 9.9. I agree. Although I don't do... Matt, I must say, I don't do points. So 9 would be 90%. 10 would be 100% that it's going to happen. We don't do point thingies, but I see what he's done. He's 99% sure Mbumo will be a United player. I completely agree. Martinez, 5 at second. Gyökeres, 5 at second. Costa, the goalkeeper, 4. Mateta, 3. Ekitike, 3. And then Didi, 2. I'll tell you what. I've got to shout out Matt, the editor. He's actually not bad. He's actually good. He's actually good, you know. I mean, I wouldn't know how I would do mine. That's not mine. But that actually isn't that bad. Where we are today, based on who we're linked to, you can't argue with that. I would say that that is probably about right. It's not who I want, but based on... I mean, look, you could get quite nervous about that. You could get quite excited about that. But based on all the link... And this is what I've been saying as well. We won't have a striker on the American tour. No way. We won't have a goalkeeper either. Because when you look at that, you can't argue with that. We're not in talks with any of those players apart from Mbumo. And that's the point. Mateta, we're not even in talks with. Ekitike, we're not in talks with. Gyökeres, we're not in talks with. Martinez, we're not in talks. Costa, we're not in talks with any of those players. We're not in talks with any of those players at all. And we know that we're going to take 3 or 4, 5, 6 weeks to do it. So that's the worrying thing. After Mbeumo, that's all we're going to take on tour. We're not taking anyone else on tour because we're not in talks with them. But I would say that's not a bad reflection of what the hotometer is, Matt. I think that's quite good. Obviously, Martinez wants to come to United, but we're not in talks with him. Obviously, Amorim wants Costa, but we're not in talks with him. Obviously, Gyökeres wants Arsenal, but they don't want him, so he might be in talks with us. Mateta, I mean, I don't understand whether Mateta, 3 out of 10, 30% chance. I think Mateta's more of a fan-led player than a club-led player. Ekitike, I can't see it. And Ndidi, I don't want to see it. Michael, welcome to Members Club. Thank you very much. There used to be a First Division game on Sunday, says Rico. They did, the match. 3 o'clock on a Sunday afternoon on national TV. Neymar destroyed the market going for 220 million. You're amazing, especially when you've had a drink. United stand for life, says Alex. Yes. United. I'd take Seb over Højlund up front, says B16. That's not very fair. Just popped up on my feed. Wolves got 99 million, says Neil. And the year I was born, Ferguson became manager of United, says Slow Sports News. Bloody hell. Wait till they know Liverpool paid 150 million for a German hobbit, says Mario. And I'm 54. Football was always in my blood, and we played football every evening. Grew up loving football. It will always be my second love, says Mike. Would you play for City for £1 million a week? Yes. You just paid me £52 million a year, mate. Mate, I'd play football. I made this decision at 15. I'd play for anyone. If I was a professional footballer, I'd play for anyone. And I don't care what anyone thinks about that. I would love to have played football at the highest level. Oh, no, I'd love to have played football for Preston. I'd love to have done it. I love football. We need to get the toxicness out the dressing room, says Mikel. And I'd say McTominay would hate it if Sancho rocked up. Though it'd be funny if he went to Juve and McTominay smashed him in a game, says Rory C. Someone said in the chat, even if Sancho leaves on a free, no one's paying him more than 150k, free or not, says Ray. And we're linked to that goalkeeper, John Victor. That's a load of bollocks. I'm not even going to talk about that, Iron. Wasn't it United's greed to sign these players for these deals? It takes strength to say no. The club was greedy to get the shiniest toy, says Chinmay, sorry. And Sancho acts as if he's broke. Also, he has no trust in his footballing ability, says Enjoy Life. Look, you know what? We're United fans, most of us. We've got every right to say, I think some people are scared of this, and I don't know why. As a United fan, you've got every right to say, Amorim out, Amorim in, Bruno out, Bruno in, Sancho out, Sancho in. You have that right, because as a fan of football, we've all got our own ideas, and I don't know why that's outlawed. It shouldn't be outlawed. You might get ridiculed for it, you might get a bit of shit for it, but you're allowed to have your own opinion. And look, in fairness to Rashford's 300 grand a week, Casemiro's 350 grand a week, Mason Mount's 250 grand a week, Jadon Sancho's 300 grand a week, what a fucking massive waste of money. Luke Shaw 190 grand a week. Ridiculous. But there is a part of every one of us that holds that against Sancho or against Luke Shaw or against Marcus Rashford. And actually, if somebody said to you, do you want to earn 300 grand a week to play for Man United? Are you actually going to sit there and go, I don't actually think I'm worth it. I want to play for Man United, but I'm not worth 300 grand a week. I think, realistically, I think a fairer wage for me is 100 grand a week. Of course you're going to bloody sign it. Of course you're going to take the wage. So the real culprit, the real villain, the real prat is the person that handed the contract out in the first place. And let's not forget, just on Jadon Sancho for a minute, please tell me who else wanted to sign Jadon Sancho? What's this Gyökeres picture that people are doing, Mark Gyökeres? Oh, it is me. Yeah, I get it. I can't see it. People in the chat keep going Mark Gyökeres, and it's Matt who's having a laugh. That's why I didn't do that. because I didn't even know what he was doing. I keep seeing people going Mark Gyökeres, and I'm like, what are they doing? And I've just realised that is not Gyökeres, that's me doing that. Well done, Matt. He's played the game. He's played the game. But you know what I mean? Like what I was saying before about the wage, and the hilarious thing about Man United's negotiations are that I was arguing with a Newcastle fan today. They basically said this: Mbeumo hasn't chosen Man United, he's chosen the wage. And I was like, what are you talking about? It was in our comment section. And I was like, what are you talking about? And they were like, he's chosen you because you're giving him 250 grand a week. And I went, we're not. We're not. We're probably giving him 150 or 200 grand a week. Your wage bill is shit. Like, it's crap. Like, you've got all this Saudi money, but your wage salary is shit. And fair play, but Isak's on 120 grand a week. Peter Andre earns more than you. Not Peter Andre, Andre Onana, but I call him Peter Andre. But the point is, if Newcastle paid Mbeumo 150 grand a week, he'd be their top earner. At Man United, we give 150 grand a week to Eriksen. So we're not giving him 250 grand a week. We're giving him a wage that would be your top earner because your wage budget's shit. So, cry me a river. Cry me a river. But they want to make out we're giving him 250 grand a week. We don't need to give Mbeumo 250 grand a week to blow Newcastle's wage budget out the window. You don't pay good wages. But he chose us anyway. He chose us anyway. But my point is that you look at Jadon Sancho at Dortmund, I think he was on about 60 grand a week. And then we give him 300k. Anthony was on 20 grand a week at Ajax. We gave him 200k. Harry Maguire was on 50 grand a week at Leicester. We gave him 200k. And you sort of look at it and you go, yeah, these players have become mercenaries. But who created the mercenary? Why do you take a player from Dortmund and give them that much of an upgrade on a wage? Why, when no one else wanted to buy him? Like, there was nobody else looking to buy Sancho. The first summer and the second summer that we bought him, nobody else wanted him. Anthony, no one else was in for Anthony. 80 million and 200 grand a week. We pay stupid wages. And as somebody said this morning, do you genuinely think there's no money laundering going on? Well, of course I don't think there's any bloody money laundering going on. I hope there's no money laundering going on. We're Manchester United. But I have to admit, some of the Glazers are businessmen. I'd sit there and go, I know you're here to rip the club off. I know you're here to bleed us dry. But God, you could have done a better job. And they go, what do you mean? And I go, Anthony was on 20 grand a week at Ajax. You give him 200 grand a week. You could have given him 150 grand a week and saved 50 grand a week. Think of your dividends. Jadon Sancho was on 60 grand a week at Dortmund. You give him 300 grand a week. You could have given him 250 grand a week and saved 50 grand a week. Who's doing these deals for you? Because they're bleeding you dry as well, you bloody idiots. Lucas sources are claiming that Gyökeres is a top target. It's not news that he posted, but it's more talking come out lately. He is so slow, sports news. Look, honestly, I've said it so many times. You've just reminded me. Team Talk, whoever they are, Man United have joined the race to sign Isak. Oh, God. I'm finishing the show. Night, everybody. David Beckham's going to do the show. There you go. David can do the show. And I think that basically just sums up the shit you lot have to deal with. Like, Man United, it's not a joke. It's genuinely not a joke. Team Talk, Man United have joined the race to sign Isak. Man United wouldn't even know where the fucking race is to join that. And this is what I mean. There's so much shit out there. You're intelligent people, I hope. We've not joined the race to sign Isak. What I've noticed with certainly with the Manchester Evening News, is somebody will break a news story 2 weeks ago, and then they'll wait 2 weeks and break it themselves. And there's no scrutiny in that world. But they're not breaking stories that have... Man United are joining the race to sign Gyökeres. Oh my God! Oh, wake Seb up! Get the neighbours up! Get the neighbours round! We're in the race to sign Gyökeres! It's breaking news! Hello! Gyökeres! Man United are in the race to sign Gyökeres! Oh my God! Yeah, shut up about what's going on over there. We're in the race to sign Gyökeres. Stop cooking the dinner. Yeah, stop it. Stop the Club World Cup. No one's watching it. Man United are in the race to sign Gyökeres. The Manchester Evening News have broken it. Man United are in the race to sign Gyökeres. Oh, yeah. Stop. Newsnight. 10 o'clock news cancelled. Man United are trying to sign Gyökeres because the Manchester Evening News have just announced it. It's amazing news, breaking news, super duper news. But they will put that out there like they've found that news. Unfortunately, most educated United fans know that we've been looking at Gyökeres for fucking weeks. But suddenly, Mr. Nobody Wants to Talk to Him has got the news on Gyökeres. 2 people get the news out of Man United. Ornstein and Romano. Officially, they get the news out of Man United. There are little leaks here and there, and we're grateful for them. But predominantly, Ornstein, Romano. No one ever gets a breaking news story. That's how it works. Christmas is cancelled! Manchester Evening News! Will you upload the video evidence of you running around the garden with your top off? That sounds a bit kinky. I've got to say that sounds a bit kinky, B16. Anyway, I've just been asked to do this, so the colder meter is going to come up. I'm not going to talk about it yet, but the colder meter is the players that we think are going to go. We will talk about that in a moment, but I've got a few things to talk about here. Teletext and final score at 5 p.m. on a Saturday, and then reading all the news in the next day papers. Nostalgia, Mojo. I don't believe in nostalgia. I don't believe in the past. It's already dead. But it doesn't mean that you can't be in love with it. I just think it's so offensive to anybody that didn't live it. But for me, the 90s can't be beaten. Film, music, football. Yeah, it was just great. It was a great time. And unfortunately, we're living in a world at the moment where people can't ask questions without being cancelled. And I just think the 90s, the football was better. The music was way better. Film was way better. And that's not offensive to anybody that didn't live the 90s. I'd just say, look at the 90s and say, why can't we have it now? That's all I ever say. Why can't we have it now? Why is it that when I look at sitcoms like The Office and a few others, we can't make them now? Because somebody said you can't do that. You can't do that now. You can't tell those jokes now. You can't play that music now. We've lost our way. People of 2025 deserve the life I grew up in the 90s, definitely. Will you upload... Anyway, would you sacrifice the signings of Mbeumo and Gyökeres to get rid of the Glazers and Ineos? Oh, Kenzo. You've gone ridiculously hypothetical there. We're never getting rid of the Glazers. If you love football, would you play for the Carolina Panthers? Yeah. Cheers. That's from Mazraoui. Hope you're doing well. How are we on homegrown players if we've been off Sancho, Rashford and Garnacho? We're fine, Jon Snow. Look at Gyökeres' picture on Hotometer. It was me. Mark, look at Gyökeres closest to Slow Sport. Snooze. Michael, welcome to Members Club. Right, let's have a look at the colder meter. So these are the top 7 players that we think are most likely to leave Man United at this moment in time. Again, I haven't done it, and I'm not on there. So... this is Matt's interpretation. I disagree with this one, actually. I actually think Garnacho leaving isn't nailed on. I don't... There's something about the Garnacho... I'd say it's 8, but I wouldn't say it's 10 out of 10. Where's he going? Where's the market for Garnacho? Man United are selling a 20-year-old that was worth £60 million in January. People won't give us 40 now. I'm not convinced that this deal is 100%. And what I mean by that is it could end up being a loan. I just don't think Garnacho is guaranteed. I think he wants to go. I think Amorim wants him to go, but the market's shit. It's really bad. Like, Arsenal are looking at Eze now. Now, Eze's a good player, but that just shows you nobody's looking at Garnacho or Rashford, and it's a crap market. Because and I think they've damaged themselves. And it's the same with Sancho. I think Sancho, Rashford and Garnacho have damaged themselves because of how they've behaved like petulant, brands. And I don't think clubs look at them and go, I fancy a bit of that. I think, and it doesn't matter what I think, it doesn't matter what you think, but I think clubs are looking at Sancho, Rashford and Garnacho and going, do we want this type of egotistical player? Are they a team player? Or are they surrounded by people who are wiping their arse for them, telling them they're great? And we might get lucky. There might be one or two clubs that look at them and go, we can turn them around. But I'm not convinced that Garnacho's a 10 out of 10. I don't think it's necessarily nailed on because I don't see where the market is at the moment for the price that we want. I think Antony's the most likely player to go because he's basically wants to play football. He just wants to play football. And I think I'm correct in saying that he's actually got himself back into the Brazil side. So I think Antony just wants to play football. I don't think he sees himself as a brand or anything like that. I think he just wants to play football. So I think Antony is the most likely player to go. We've mentioned Rashford, Sancho, Garnacho. I'm not convinced they're as high as 10s and 8s. I think they could be all 7 at the moment. I think Garnacho, Rashford and Sancho are all 7. I think they need to go. I don't think they're easy to get rid of. I don't count loans as going. I think loans are... Look, we thought a year ago that Sancho was gone, and here he is again. A loan for me is not going. I think Antony's the most likely to go at the moment. Onana on a 4 out of 10. A lot of people talking about that. Well, let's do Rasmus first. I think Rasmus 50-50 is fair. Obviously, he doesn't want to go. I can see him staying. I can see him going. I'd like to see him stay. I think he's been thrown in at the deep end at 20 years of age and asked to be United's starting striker, and I think that's difficult. But I think 50-50 is fair. Onana at 40%. Look, if it was up to Amorim, he's 100%, but he's got the power. Onana's got the power. And it's interesting, actually, just to deviate for a moment. If you're following, and I don't know how many people have watched it, so I should actually have a look first, because if only 50 people have watched it, then none of you will have seen it. But let's have a look. Oh my God! We're only 13 followers away from 5,000. Goldbridge Hot Takes on Instagram. So I basically put a post up a couple of hours ago. 180,000 people have watched it, to be fair. So I basically did this video about... you might find this quite interesting. You can check it out on Goldbridge Hot Takes, and if you can get yourself on Instagram and follow it, we're nearly at 5,000, which would be great to hit while we're live. So it's called Goldbridge Hot Takes on Instagram. I did a video a couple of hours ago, and basically it's called Man United Back in Europe. We're not back in Europe. No one's given us an invite. I'm sure UEFA would like to, but that would be cheating. But basically what I said is that we scored 44 goals last season, and our top 5 goal scorers scored 30 goals combined. And Mbeumo and Cunha scored 35 combined. Chelsea finished in the top 4 with 64 goals. We finished 15th with 44 goals. So logically, you look at that and go, if we can find another 20 goals, we could be in the top 4 or 5. That's what the video I did on Goldbridge Hot Takes. So 30 goals between our top 5 Premier League goal scorers, and Mbeumo and Cunha scored 35. Add a striker into that, you're looking at 50. If we've got Cunha and Mbeumo and a new striker with Bruno and Ahmad, I think we can find those 20 goals. And I think that puts us into the top 5. And that was my science behind it. Obviously, it's not going to necessarily work out like that. But it's not just about goals. You change Onana, I think that's got to be worth another 5 to 10 points as well. So, Mbeumo, Cunha and a striker and a new goalkeeper, their shift could be huge. It could be absolutely massive. It could be another 20, 30 points. So we do need to remove Onana as much as we need to bring a striker in. I just don't know. I just don't know whether it's 40% or whether it's 10%, but we do need to do it. Of course we do. Do you think top 4 is really achievable, Mark? Look, on what I've just said there, it's totally achievable. Our top 5 goal scorers in the Premier League scored 30 goals. It's shit. If Cunha and Mbeumo score 30 goals between them, and then Bruno scores another 7, and Ahmad scores another 5, that's 42 goals. A striker's going to score 10. That's 52 goals. That's a 20 increase. You know, you've got to be looking at top 5, 6 there. So, yeah, simplistically, it should be that simple. Whether it works out like that, I don't know. But I agree with where we've looked at the weaknesses in the team. Whether it works out in practice or not, I don't know. But logically, I mean, look, Garnacho scored hardly any goals. Rasmus scored hardly any goals. Ahmad didn't score that many goals. Rashford was gone halfway through the season. If you've got Cunha and Mbeumo and a striker scoring, 12 goals each, you're going to climb the table. It's logical. So, where we are now, I don't think we're going to get top 4. But if we got rid of Onana and brought a striker in and brought a new goalkeeper in, I'd give us a throw of the dice. I'd give us half a chance, definitely. Casemiro at 2. I feel like there's a player here that we've missed, and that player is not there. I feel like there's a player we've missed, but actually I think he's got it. I think he's got the 7, hasn't he? I mean, I wouldn't even bother writing Malassia's name there. He doesn't count. Nice to see Cole Palmer there, though. Collier could happen, 7 Yima. Collier could happen. Luke Shaw won't happen, Marcus. Malassia might happen, but he's irrelevant. If you love football, I've done that one. Mark, how much do you pay monthly for your phone contract? It's a great... Look, I'd love to answer it because it's super chat, but I don't even know. 70 quid? Is that good or bad? So Bear says, how much do you pay monthly for your phone contract? I think 70 quid. I think. And everyone's going to go, you're being ripped off. But I think it's 70 quid. Getting ripped off. Yeah, but I get my phone as part of that. I'm getting ripped off. EE, you're in the mud. You're ripping me off. How much do you... been watching since 2018, says Swami. But a member for the last 3 years. You're a legend, mate. Grateful for the community. I just hope United bounce back. I'm checked out with work. Well done, mate. Well done. Lee Goldart, another legend of the chat, says clubs know we're desperate. They want loan deals for our players and they will wait until the end of the window to force us to do something. It sucks. Just on that one very, very quickly, somebody asked me about Rashford, and there was a bit of a rumour going out earlier on that Barcelona just want Rashford on a straight loan deal for a year with us paying some of his wages. Well, I'll tell you what, knock me down and call me Batman. I mean, what a surprise. I mean, why would Barcelona, one of the biggest football clubs in the world, who don't even need Rashford, be knocking on United's door on their knees saying, we'll do an obligation to buy and pay all of his wages? Rashford's basically outside the new camp, like Peter Odemwingie, begging them with a tube of lube. Like, he's absolutely desperate to play for Barcelona. And Barcelona are looking at him and going, yeah, we'd like him, but we're not that desperate for him. So if you want to come to United, we'll pay half your wages, and then if you do okay, we'll keep you. They're not desperate to sign him. It's Rashford who's desperate to go there. So I would believe that they only want him on loan with us paying half the wages because they don't need him. He's not Mbappe. He's not bloody Lewandowski. He's not Erling Haaland. You know, they would like him. They wanted him in January, but he's not their top choice. You know, he's now saying he's a striker because he just wants them to sign him. But he's not a striker. He's a left winger, and they want Nico Williams. So I would not be surprised if Barcelona say to Man United, we'll take Rashford off your hands. We'll take him off your hands and we'll pay half his wages. But we're not giving obligation to buys. We're not covering all of his wages because we're not that bothered. And he's desperate to come to us. And I think that's what's happening with Rashford. So I don't get the feeling that they're absolutely obsessed with signing him. I think he's obsessed with going there, because if he doesn't get Barcelona, where does he go? There's no other club. If he doesn't get the Barcelona deal, where does he go? And I bet Barcelona are saying to him, we'd like to buy you, but we can't. We'd like to loan you, but we can't pay all your wages. So it's up to United, really. And United will look at it and go, so we pay half your wages to play for Barcelona? No fucking way. So I don't see that solving itself very quickly at all. What I can't understand, these players have played with McTominay. Why can't they just look at him as an example? United career finished, but he did an absolute fantastic season at Napoli. Yeah, because McTominay obviously loves football and wants to play. Well done on the quotations on Onana, says Nemanja. It's sad, says William, but it's actually quite impressive how one club can have so many knobheads in the same squad. Self-sabotage every time. Patrick Lynch is in the house and says, no wonder we have players unwilling to move on when they are on big wages. They are treating United like the owners, a business. You know, those players are making business decisions just like the owners. Man United keeping tabs on Messi. I hate that word, keeping tabs. It's ridiculous, says Ibrahim. And Einert says, it baffles me that people complain we are Gyökeres's second choice, but they forget he was our second choice. By the way, Amorim wanted Delap at Sporting. Thank you very much for that. What about Kobe Mainu or Kobe Mainu for the colder meters? Mainu's not going anywhere. I mean, I don't know how Mainu gets into the team, but he's not going anywhere. Bobby says there's plenty of other clubs for Rashford, Mark. Yeah, but they're not Barcelona. I think Rashford's desperate to go to Barcelona, which I understand. But if he doesn't go there, he's not gonna. Where does he go? I mean, there will be other clubs but they won't be Barcelona. No. Has it been confirmed that we're signing Mbeumo? I did say to you this morning about Mbeumo. There's no point in saying deal day or whatever because nobody's got a bloody clue. This Mbeumo deal has been closer than close for 3 days. It's Friday tomorrow. If it doesn't happen tomorrow, it won't happen on Saturday and Sunday because that's not how it works. So I'm not 100% sure. Paul says Goldbridge Hot Takes has got 5,000 now. Well, you're brilliant because I haven't even put the link in. Because I'm not organised. So, well done. It is a good video, Man United back in Europe. I like it. And I'm in it. Yeah, I do think it's... I don't like thinking about Sancho, Garnacho and Rashford because I just think that's... It, like somebody said, it evidences the problems that we have at Manchester United. If we just had Sancho, I'd be hopeful we could get rid of him by the end of August. But Sancho, Garnacho, Rashford, we've got 3. I can't see us being able to do those deals. I'm not sure there's a market. I'm really not. You've got Sancho who wants stupid money. You've got Garnacho who wants the dream project. And you've got Rashford that only wants Barcelona and the money. And I think they're not all going to get their own way. None of them might get their own way. And if they don't get realistic, and why would they? They're clearly badly advised. Like, there's so much evidence that Rashford, Garnacho and Sancho are badly advised. I think that's a huge issue for Man United to get rid of those 3 people. I really, really do. Mbeumo's going to have a medical next week, says Aidan. It's amazing how people can say that he's having a medical next week, but Fabrizio hasn't said, here we go. Like, I think people don't understand the process of a transfer. You can't book a medical in when you've not got a here we go. So, and you don't get a here we go without the deal being done. And the deal is not done. So, we're not at that point. It's very close. It's really close. But trust me, we've been doing this for a long time. Fabrizio will do a here we go when he knows it's going to happen, and it's not happened yet. So, look, the medical will be next week. Anybody can say the medical's going to be next week, but we haven't got here we go yet, so we haven't got the deal done yet. So that's sort of where we are at the moment. What do you think about Arsenal? Well, we're not. We're Manchester United, aren't we? We're not Arsenal, but I've got to say that I quite like that centre-back that they've been linked to. I remember him having him on my FIFA career mode. Mosquera. So, look, people don't like having this conversation, and we're not going to have it in any depth. But Liverpool, Kirkez, here we go today. Wirtz already done. Frimpong done. Kwanzaa to Leverkusen. Man City, Cherky, Reinders. About 4 players bought in January. Arsenal, Kepa. Zubamendi's basically done. They're now looking at Mosquera. They're looking at Eze. Norgard's going to happen. They're looking at a striker. Man United, Cunha, Mbeumo. Nobody sold. Nobody in. Altnouri, Man City as well. We've got, what I'm saying is, we're meant to be trying to close the gap on Man City, Arsenal and Liverpool. And they've all done more transfer activity. They're all ahead of us, and they've all done more transfer activity than us. And this is what I keep saying. If I could speak to Sir Jim Radcliffe, I'd say, you talk about us winning the title. You're talking about us being the best club in England. We're miles behind Liverpool, Arsenal and Man City. And in this transfer window, which everybody says is so huge because you need a pre-season and this is the rebuild, those teams that were ahead of us at the end of the season are now ahead of us in the transfer window. So explain to me how we catch a team that's miles ahead of us that's also doing more transfer activity than us. How are we closing a gap when the gap looks like it's getting bigger? And that's something I would argue with anybody. Those 3 clubs are the biggest 3 clubs in England at the moment. They're miles ahead of us. And in June, they've done way more activity than us. So what are we doing? And I don't think anybody can argue with that. They're miles ahead and they're doing way more business because they're competing with each other. Liverpool, Arsenal and Man City aren't doing all this business because they're thinking about us. They're doing all that business because they're thinking about each other. It's strange how excited we would have been 4 years ago with those 4 as our wingers. It's a shame it didn't work out, says B16. In case you didn't know, United want Gyökeres, Mark, says Anders. I can't live with the excitement. It's tearing me apart. Sounds like the players hate the Glazers too, says Who to Blame. Why would you hate the Glazers? They made you millionaires. Sully with a big update says, my dad's back home from hospital. I appreciate all the well wishes. This is great news, Sully. I hope you're doing well and your dad too. Dale says, give Cunha 10 and Mbeumo 17 to send a message. Yeah, Rashford and Garnacho. Bear, welcome to the Members Club. Thank you very much. Okay, great show tonight. A little bit different. Basically, went down the pub quite early tonight. Bit of a school night as well, Thursday night, you know. Madfare and all that. But different type of show, but I actually enjoyed it. It's not always about Mbeumo, Gyökeres and the goalkeeper. It's quite good to actually have a chat. Ben Jacobs says, medical at Man United is expected to take place now. I mean, that's not really news, is it? Expected to take place next week. Yeah, well, that's logical. But you've still got to have a here we go first. So let's get there first. Because I can't be arsed with the wait will be over soon or it's closer than close. I don't give a shit about when the medical is. I care about, here we go, holding up the Man United shirt so we can move on. And honestly, I'm very excited about Cunha and I'm very excited about Mbermo. But I'll tell you what I'm really excited about. Here we go, official. Let's move on to the next one. That's what excites me the most. I'm excited about what we're going to do next, because we've spent 4 weeks on this now. It's 4 weeks on Monday. So Jim won most handsome co-owner in football, says 1 Inch Wonder. Yeah, okay. Look at Victor again on the hot meter, says Almost. I know what's going on, Almost Malone. But for those who don't, look at Gyökeres on there. July the 1st, here we go, says Keel Robinson. Thank you very much. Okay, thanks everybody for watching. Really appreciate it. Make sure you smash the like and subscribe. And check out Goldbridge Hot Takes on Instagram, and give us a follow there. Absolute legends, stay safe, and I'll speak to you on the next one. Thank you very much. This is the spoiler bit. I love this now. I'm starting to enjoy the fact that people go, and there's always going to be a little bit extra. Pawan says, what about TUSFC? It was meant to be today, mate. It's not going to be tomorrow, so I'm very annoyed about that. It was meant to be today, but I got locked in on some other stuff, so it's not going to be tomorrow. So I don't know when I'm going to do it, and I'm annoyed because I want to play. I enjoy playing the career as much as you like watching it. So yeah, I haven't done that. What did you do down the pub? Basically, it was a nice hot day and a Thursday, and I had a busy day. So I basically said to Mrs. Goldbridge, shall we take Seb down the pub? Not for a pint, just he can have a Coke and we'll have a couple of pints. So we went down there, and then it was just really nice atmosphere. So we had like more than one. And then we got fish and chips for supper. So yeah, it was nice. And I think that's very important. I think some people do, you know, lives for a living. And it's those sort of moments that are more important than anything. Like, that's what I love about this. It's like, it's, you know, pre-recorded content's fine. Pre-recorded content is when you record it without an audience and you upload it, and I like it. But fundamentally, this has always been about live interactive comments, and you know, that makes it feel more real, which is I think is important, and that's why so many people copy it. It's amazing actually how many people copy it, but you know, I take it as a what's not a privilege. What's the word? Compliment. Yeah. Apparently we don't like the United stand, but we all copy it. So yeah. So that's been my day, but a very busy day today. But time's flying by so quickly, isn't it? I mean, it feels like a couple of minutes ago that the season ended, and then it's going to be the blink of an eye, and we're going to be back with pre-season games, which in some ways is good, but there is an element of we needed a bit of a switch off from last year, I think. But yeah, as I've said to you before, I don't want to go back into the show, but we're not going to take a striker on the US tour. It's just not going to happen, and I think that's a big mistake. We might not sign a striker at all. Rico's given us a super chat in this spoiler section. Here's a beer for tomorrow. Thank you, Rico. You're an absolute legend. Okay, thanks everyone for watching. What are you watching on TV at the moment? I'd say 90% of my viewing when I get time to relax is probably hardcore porn. I just have, you know, I'm going through tissues like bloody cereal. You know, it's just like every. I'm joking. I would say what I'm watching. I really would recommend The Gold on BBC iPlayer, which I watched ages ago. That's very, very good. Mobland was very, very good. I watched You on Netflix, and I've just watched the final series because basically I don't even know why I watched it really. It's one of those shows, I don't even know why I watched it, but I got through it. That was quite good. Never going to watch Lord of the Rings on Amazon Prime, even though I like the films. Absolute woke shit, like most stuff. I like The Trip is a fantastic series with Steve Coogan and Rob Brydon. I love that sort of stuff. But I think a lot of TV. I watch a lot of classic films now. I watch King of New York with Christopher Walken from 1990. State of Grace with I think Sean Penn was in that. I think a lot of the modern stuff is shit. I am going to revisit The Sopranos. Yeah. But most of the shit we watch these days is utter woke wank shit. And what I mean by that is, I don't even know what woke means, to be honest. What woke means to me is, okay, this is a straight male in this role, and it won't be a straight male. It'll be every other tick of the box, and that's what it means to me. It's like they tick boxes at the expense of what the actual creative is. Like, it would be like the United stand being done 10 years ago, but it wouldn't be me. It would be every other tick of the box, and they wouldn't know anything about football. Thanks everyone for watching. Take care. I feel like this spoiler section is going to end up being bigger than the main show, but I quite like those sort of conversations, to be honest. It's nice to wind down. Heat is the ultimate summer movie. Every year I watch Heat. I love it. I watch Home Alone every Christmas and a couple of other Christmas films. But Heat, you can tell how good Heat is, and Jaws, because I can watch that film every summer and love it. Every 12 months I watch Heat and I love it. That's how good it is. Sarah Marshall says, this is the next 2-year problem this year. Bruno should have gone rebuild this year. Next year, Casemiro on a free and Harry Maguire on a free. I agree, Sarah. I absolutely agree. I think you're absolutely spot on. Gamora is brilliant. I just kept falling asleep to it because you have to read the subtitles. Take care, everyone. Stay safe. You're absolute legends in this community. Remember, we'll always be the original community, no matter how many people copy it. Speak to you in a bit.